Hello and welcome. You are listening and watching episode 101 of the Nearly Men Video Games podcast, coming to you live on Twitch from Scotland on Thursday the 27th of January 2022. My name is Paul Kaczynski and joining me today is none other than Colin Little and Blunderboy87. And together we are the Nearly Men, and this episode of the podcast is brought to you by executive producer Hamster Boy. Mr. Producer. We have nothing to do with the video games industry. We don't make them, we don't sell them, and we're not even particularly good at them. We are the Nearly Men, and at some point you have probably kicked our asses online. Welcome back, gentlemen. Who was laughing at me? I could hear yous. What did I do now? That was video games. Good evening. Oh, that'll be your Windows update. Bear with me 2 seconds and we can get that sorted right away, ladies and gentlemen. Right, try that, gentlemen.
Hello.
Ta-da!
Hello.
You're on now.
Hello.
Daybreak, thank you very much for the heads up.
I know, just as well you're here, Daybreak.
Daybreak saving the day as always.
I missed. Right, I've got to say my ahoy hoy again.
Right, okay,
Ahoy
so
hoy.
joining us today is Colin Little
Ahoy hoy.
and Blunderboy87.
Hello.
Do you know what I mean? It's just as if we started again.
With our video games podcast.
I'll put that in later on. Just move that about. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
This is the
It's-
first podcast since November, I believe. And we're back.
Yes.
And it's nice to see you all.
It's lovely to be back. Lovely to be here. Lovely to have all lots of lovely folks in the chat. We see you all. Nice to see you.
Did you have a nice festive time, gentlemen?
I did.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
I did think as I did. Did you?
Yes, I did. Thank you very much.
Good.
That's it. Do you know what I mean? How do we do this again?
I
I
don't.
can't even know remember what kind of festival. Like it feels so long ago. Like January has been the longest year ever.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, I'm doing dry January, so I can tell you it's definitely been the longest ever.
I've been in your
That's
company in January, Colin, so I
Aye,
can
so
tell you
that
that
was even
it's- No, good on you. How you holding up? Because you're.
I'm doing all right. I've got like 4 days to go.
Do you know what I mean?
So it's all right. I can manage that. It's been good. I'm feeling the benefit for it. But I
Good,
tell you,
good.
I'm very much looking forward to a nice, sensible pint or two when all is said and done. And a whiskey. I've not had a whiskey in ages. I read an article the other day for Burns Night about various whiskies, and I was like, I shouldn't read this right now, but I'm going to have a quick read. And I was just sitting there going,
I did have to laugh on the Sunday social when I flew over Isla. And I'm going, down there's Lafroig and Lagavulin and all that. And up in the chat comes Colin Little going, this is torture! And how are you, Blender? How's your January been, sir?
It's been good. It's been busy. It's been busy. So I had to move. For those who know, I moved house because I moved job. But it beats better. It beats living in a hotel for a month again, which was interesting. And then I go back to streaming, so that was nice. I had shingles, which was not so nice. So it's been a very up and down month.
My days. It's been a roller coaster for you, pal.
London
has.
does not do things by halves.
No, I'm just like, everything hit me at once, please, thanks, love it, bye.
How are you in your new house? Are you settled, or is there still lots to be done?
Oh gosh, no, I unpacked 7 rooms in 2 days.
Jeez,
And what about the other 27 rooms?
Mark's
I'm
still
sure
moving.
off. He's got 7 rooms.
7.
7. I don't think I've got 7 rooms in this entire house.
And those 2 days, Mark did the kitchen. I was like, I just hate boxes. It goes back to years ago when I lived with someone, and there was like 4 boxes just there for like 5 months, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
Did you live with Paul Kaczynski?
Don't come to my house. Don't come to my house.
But and I lots of people said that like, yeah, you're not allowed to come visit, and I'm like, why? And like, I've been in my house for 3 years and I've got boxes, and I'm like, it's fine, it's not my house.
Yeah.
We've got
Switching.
boxes. Like, we've been in this house like 5 years. We've got boxes that we've never opened.
Well, see, the thing is, that happened my last house, and when I got to that box, I thought, I obviously don't need what's in this box. I've lived in my previous house. I lived there for 7 years. And I thought I've never been in this box in 7 years. Surely I don't need what's in that box.
Did you blind chuck it?
Set it on fire, mate.
Nice.
Somewhere,
Nice.
Kevin Spacey's raging. I feel bad even. I was a 7-year-old, but
that was a
I
wee
feel
bit of
bad even
stretch, to
mentioning
be
him.
honest.
I feel bad even mentioning him.
That was a wee bit of a stretch. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back for episode 101. Here we are. We love hearing from you. If you want to get in touch, here's how you can do it.
Reaching the Nearly Men is easier than ever. Search for the Nearly Men Video Games podcast on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or your preferred podcast player. We stream on Twitch. Follow Colin at Colin_NM. Follow Paul at Paul Kaczynski, all one word. Follow Gary at Blunderboy87. And let's get social on Facebook as The Nearly Men, Twitter and Instagram where we are at Nearly Men, or go old school and email us on info@thenearlymen.com. Need all that again? Links are on our website, thenearlymen.com. So what are you waiting for?
Indeed, what are you waiting for? Get in touch. We love hearing from you, whether it's just to tell us what you're playing or what you're doing on your Saturday afternoon. We like to know. Ladies and gentlemen, just before the Christmas break, we dropped our merchandise. Yes, we did. Our merchandise is now available at printbunker.co.uk. There's a wee selection, isn't there, gentlemen? In fact, Colin's the sporting one as we speak here, if you're a visual listener. And yes, you can get your hoodie. You can get a hoodie and you can get t-shirts. There's 5 colours available. There's white, tropical blue, red, Irish green, daisy. I went for the daisy one.
Nice.
Which does not work on a green screen.
Yeah, we've discovered there's quite a few of the Nearly Men colours that do not work on green screen. 'Cause the lovely mineral blue colour that I've got doesn't work very well either.
No.
And I'm pretty sure the Irish green's not going to work either.
So as long as you're not streaming in it, I mean, they're very stylish, they're very fancy. Designed, we should say, by none other than Colin Little. I think
Yes,
it's
that's
great.
true. I did design them. Yes, it was a long time coming actually. Like I first designed them in 2019, I believe.
Oof,
At least I started work on. I mean, even longer actually. The controller design. That's years ago. I designed that.
You
but
designed that
it's-
for a stream, one of the save points, didn't you? That
did
was
I?
our backdrop, I think, at one point.
Thank God, I don't even remember.
I
that.
see.
So it's sort of various iterations, but we've got that. We've got the Nearly Men heads, and we've got Tetris as well. I've got a few other ideas of some other ones that we might do, possibly even sort of Nearly Men specific T-shirts. You know, if you've got a particular Nearly Man you're particularly wanting to represent, then we can maybe get some of those going on the go as well.
We all know that's Blunder. We all know
yeah.
everybody wants
I
Blunder.
mean, we know which one's going to sell the most.
I
that's
know.
what mean.
It's me. So
Uh,
it's just so you can, if someone's cheeky, you can just pull your shirt up and have red across your chest.
Right.
Red.
Red. The button, you push it and it does that.
Yes, I'm all in. I'm all in.
But yeah, I mean, there's Blunder already trying to sell his own NFTs. I mean,
Do you know what I mean?
that's it. I'd
No.
get a nice NFT
So what,
Blunder
no?
voice.
Listen,
I'll
Colin.
have you know, I unfollowed Paris Hilton because she promoted the NFTs. That's a big step for me.
Oh my
What
days.
with Troy Baker? We haven't even
Listen,
discussed him. Him
Colin,
who shall not be named.
create or hate, man. It's up to you.
Create, don't hate. Create, don't hate. I choose hate.
Hate.
Troy.
Hate! Every time, choose hate.
So you can get those 5 colours of t-shirts and also a rather fetching hoodie. Now you can go for black and there is other colours as well for some reason. Oh, it's the same colours as the t-shirts.
So the hoodies are only in 2 colours at the moment as far as I'm aware.
Oh,
Black
what?
and white.
no.
I should think you find those are shades.
Have they changed it? Oh,
Aye, 'cause
this
my-
is
my
brand
wife's-
new information.
My wife's got a blue in.
Ooh. Oh, that's exciting.
Oh, hold on a minute.
Aye. Same colours I've got here. Same colours as the
That's
t-shirts.
new. That's updated.
That is new.
And there is a black. I think that's the difference, is you can get the same colours as the t-shirts and also a black hoodie. We can't get a black
And I'm
t-shirt.
wearing the black one right now. It's very nice.
It's very
Although
nice.
if you've got a cat like me that's one's one's white and black and one's black and white, maybe don't get a black hoodie because I am constantly lint rollering myself because I'm covered in cat hair.
There you are. So the t-shirts are $15.99 and that includes postage, and the hoodies are a bargain, quite honestly, at £20.99. plus including postage. Sorry, including postage. So you can get them at printbucker.co.uk, and if you type command merch in any Nearly Man stream, you can get a link directly to it.
Printbunker.co.uk.
Print bunker.
So, gentlemen, earlier today, I mean, this is hot off the press.
Yes,
we
it
had
is.
the Sea of Thieves 2022 preview. Colin, you were watching.
I was.
Tell me.
I was.
Tell us all.
Oh my goodness, there is a lot to look forward to in 2022 with Sea of Thieves. There's a couple of big things. First of all, a couple of things we did know was potentially happening, or at least we sort of thought might happen. Sadly, for a small member of the communities, Arena is closing. The PvP only Arena is closing down, which is quite sad actually, given the fact that Paolo and I's first sort of like proper meeting of the Sea of Thieves community actually happened in the Arena. We met the wonderful Shumbat and Foxday in there, who both raided over to the Nearly Men and brought a number of our community members who are big Sea of Thieves fans over there. So the Arena will always have a kind of place in my heart for that. And actually, I've been doing some Arena recently. It's been a lot of fun.
With no Arena, there's no Evil Monkey.
Well, exactly.
That's a tragedy, surely.
Exactly. But you know, there's still a few weeks left. I think it's going to close at the start of season 6, which is actually taking place in March. So you've still got a few months left. So if anyone's trying to get those few weeks left, sorry, if anyone's trying to get those Sea Dogs commendations and stuff, that's where you're going to have to go. I kind of anticipate the Arena's going to get pretty busy for the next month.
Probably the best.
But you know, they did say that literally out of their player base of upwards of 5 million players, the only 2% are really using the Arena. So
wow.
they are going to focus on adventure, and they are bringing a massive amount of stuff to the to the adventure side of the thing. First of all, there's two main big additions to the game. These are going to be adventures and mysteries. Adventures, I think these are really going to be up your alley, Blunderboy. These
Hello.
are sort of cinematic, story-based live events that the community take part in. These are things such as people have been watching over the last few days, as we saw Golden Sands, as you can see in the video there right now. Golden Sands, the most beautiful, idyllic outpost in the game. This tropical slice of paradise has been destroyed. And players are going to have to work out how it's happened and fight their way back. And these events are going to be impacted, and the eventualities or the outcomes of these individual adventures are going to be decided by the way the players play the game. So players are actually going to get a chance to write their own part of the Sea of Thieves story, and the effects of these adventures, things like Golden Sands, are going to be forever changed and affected by the scope of these stories. So actually, there's going to be players such as us who played and remember Golden Sands as how it is, but Golden Sands is going to be a very different outpost in the coming years of the game, and it may well evolve further due to how that particular adventure unfolds. I'll come back to the adventures in a minute, because going alongside the adventures are also going to be mysteries, and these Sea of Thieves have been sort of playing with for a while. There was runes and various other things that they've been using via social media, particularly on Twitter, and players have been unlocking and decoding. Well, mysteries are going to be the same sort of thing. It's going to be an overarching mystery that's going to be less story-based and much more sort of about the players themselves unraveling or working out. And the first one we're going to have is a mystery. We're going to have a murder to solve. One of the well-known and beloved Sea of Thieves characters is going to be murdered, and players are going to have to work out who did it and how it happened.
Oh my.
So that's going to be a really exciting thing. It's just going to be happening alongside the first adventure, Shrouded Islands, which we are actually seeing the cinematic trailer for just now. That's launching on February the 17th. And we've got a special pirate. You can see her there just now, Belle, who's come back from the Shroud, and she's going to be guiding us through that. She's come back to help the Pirate Lord and work out what on earth's been happening. It's really super excited. I am very much intrigued by how both the adventures and the mysteries are going to add to what's already there. You know, the most recent update, season 5, they basically they called it the Tools Not Rules update, which of course has been a sort of mantra that Sea of Thieves have had for quite a while. Tools not rules, and this is just going to add more and more stuff to play in this massive open world sandbox. There's some new other things adventure that we've noticed as well. Sea forts. These are the kind of concrete looking Spanish style sea forts that people saw in the teaser of the preview event. These are going to be I think there's 6 or 7 different sea forts around about the world, and these are going to appear in the game. These are basically a sort of single player sort of PvE. So I don't think these are going to work in the same way. As far as I'm aware, they won't work the same way as the normal forts. So rather than at a normal fort where you potentially you're fighting your way through waves of skeletons and there's every possibility that a ship's going to come and sink you and steal your loot, I think these sea forts, if a sea fort magically appears in front of you, as far as I'm aware, it's probably going to be more of an instance sort of thing. I may be wrong, but that's what I kind of managed to gather from it. So this is more something that will be a sort of unique experience for yourself. You will battle waves of phantoms or different types of phantoms, and there's going to be fort captains. So and there's also 3 different types at the moment of these sea forts, depending on which regions of the world you're going to be in. There's a prison style one that's in the Roar, I think, and possibly the Wilds. There's the overgrown ones, which I think might be in the Ancient Isles, and then the Spanish, the kind of traditional, more concrete, more sort of like traditional looking, a bit less kind of messed up forts. I think they're going to be in the Shores of Plenty. I could have got that wrong. On top of that, there's brand new Pirate Legend voyages going to be coming. These are going to be completely replayable multiple times, and actually with a number of variables and stuff, you're essentially going to have a kind of never-ending sort of set of different voyages that you can do as a Pirate Legend to keep the game playing once you're in that sort of end game stuff. So there's tons and tons of things happening. There was also a lovely roadmap that was put up, which I do have here as well, which gives us a sort of timeline for what they're doing. And there's a couple of really exciting little additions in there. Season 6 is launching in March 2022. That's when the Sea Forts and the Pirate Legend content's coming. You're going to get 3 new adventures at that time. So there'll be 3 of the new adventures, plus a mystery begins. On top of that, you've got your usual stuff, the Pirate Emporium content, the new Plunder Pass, and there's going to be a community day. The first community day, Sea of Thieves community day, is actually happening this Sunday, the 30th, and it looks like there's going to be a community day every season after that, which I'm quite excited about. Season 7 is going to launch in June 22. Again, that's going to add 3 new adventures. There's going to be ongoing mysteries and all the usual stuff, but there's going to be some new ways to play and progress added in Season 7. And then in Season 8 in September 22, I am really excited about. They're also going to be expanded roleplay and quest types on top of 3 new adventures, ongoing mysteries, and the usual stuff. I can't wait to see what the expanded roleplay might be. Is this going to be new roles that you can take on? Who knows? And then all the way at the end of the year, this year coming, December 22, there's going to be new social options for crews. So I don't know what that means. And again, another 3 new adventures, ongoing mysteries, monthly Emporium content, new Plunder Pass, and another community day. So it's amazing. A game that's, the game's already, 3 years old? Coming up on 4 years old. And they are just filling it with more and more stuff, and I just can't wait. I honestly think this could well be the best year yet for Sea of Thieves, and I think it's pretty exciting. Paolo, you watched a little bit of it yourself. What's your sort of feelings?
I think it's really good. I think it's a really good way to kind of liven up the evolution, really, of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's brilliant that they're looking to the community to be part of the evolution of it, and I love the fact that these mysteries and adventures and all that jazz. It's the mysteries, isn't it? It's the kind of bigger over arc one, isn't it?
Well, they both are. The mysteries are going to be stuff that the community will have to work together to uncover. The adventures are the ones, as far as I'm aware, that actually the community and the way the community play can have an outcome on the. So, like for instance, there's every possibility, and they kind of alluded to this, that possibly the adventures are like an overarching war between the Pirate Lord and Flameheart, and depending on how players play, Flameheart might win some battles, and maybe other outposts might be destroyed, for instance, or maybe the players and the Pirate Lord might win some battles and manage to claim some of the Veil, or claim places like Golden Sands back, for instance.
Yeah.
And I just think it's really quite exciting to see how they're going to implement it. I mean,
I think it's great. I think it's the right way to do it, and it's very Sea of Thieves, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's as you said at the top of it. That we know the world as it is, and it might not be like that next year when new players join.
Yeah.
And it's we joined Sea of Thieves fairly far into it as it was, and it was plagued with people coming up and saying, "Well, what didn't used to be like this? Or you didn't need to do that. You didn't need to do that, and that wasn't there, and we couldn't do that, and blah blah." And it's just from the day dot, it's just been an evolving game, and I think it's a very modern way of having a game. I think that's only a good thing.
Yeah, and it's the thing is that any sort of live service game has this sort of thing, but generally, I've kind of felt with other lives, I guess things like Destiny are my best experience of live service games. They're the ones I've played the most, and I kind of feel that they sort of dwindled after a while. After a couple of years, I was a bit, not necessarily bored, because I always quite enjoyed it, but there was a lot less to do. I feel that Sea of Thieves is going in a complete different direction, where there's just more and more to do.
Yeah.
I have to say, I'm very excited with what they're doing with it. I think that the way they're kind of working with the community and just, yeah, I'm really excited. I didn't know what was going to happen. I kind of wasn't sure if they're going to mention. There's still no mention about custom servers yet, which I still would love them to get in sooner rather than later. And it is coming. There is the possibility with Arena going. I did see Spammels talking about this on one of his YouTube videos, his prediction that Arena was going to go and that custom servers was going to take its place. There's certainly been no announcement about that, but that might still come to pass. But what I did... Oh, God, I've just lost my train of thought there. That's not ideal.
Get it back. I want to ask Blunder, is any of this kind of teasing you back into potentially play more of it, or is it just not your cup of tea? What's the deal?
I like playing it with people. As a game, I don't think I'd just sit and play myself. Like, I find it. I think if I were to go play in the ocean, I'll play Subnautica, because there's like you could call them more a story, but if they're interesting story bits, I just feel like in a pirate ship I should be with people, so that's why I'd never sit and play. I think myself.
Right. Okay.
I like it, and the world changing thing. It kind of reminds me of when Fortnite did their Apocalypse, and it blew up the bits of the map, and then you still hear people going, "Oh, I remember that bit of the map used to be my favourite place to drop." So I think it's quite nice because there's that history of the world. Whereas, say, Dead by Daylight, when the maps updated, everyone went, "I just like the old maps." And then that's kind of died away really quickly because you just get used to the maps. There's no lore attached to them. Whereas, so it's quite a nice way, because it is like an active world and getting the players involved and having a kind of a storyline running to it, which is really nice.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's weird because it felt like it was a complete game, but the way they're adding to it makes it more worthwhile for those who are playing it a lot. And introducing the new characters. When I played it, I literally first played it, I felt like if I was just a guy running around stealing stuff and dying or selling it, like I felt that was my thing. I was a bit like, huh, I exist. Whereas all this stuff, as you say, Colin, it's always kind of like there's a world, there's a myth, there's a lore. It's always a bit more obvious, which is that bit. I'm like, oh, that's nice.
what the
Yeah, yeah.
adventures will probably do as well was actually address some of that, because there is tons of lore and story to Sea of Thieves if you want to do that, right? So there is obviously the Tall Tales. There's, I think, 10 of the normal Tall Tales. There's 5 of the Pirate's Life Tall Tales. They are
Mhm.
chock full of story, particularly the Pirate's Life stuff. That's much more. Blunder's played a bunch of them. In fact, you've not done them
Yeah.
all, but you've done maybe
No, I've
3 of
done a
them.
couple. Yeah, we did a couple. Years took me through a few of them.
And I mean, they're very sort of like story based and much more sort of like almost like a campaign. And
Yeah.
and the original Tall Tales are like that, but not quite as scripted necessarily. But they definitely are. So there is that there. What I think the adventures are going to do is actually give you a bit more narrative, regardless of how you play.
Mhm.
So I think even if you're just going about being a pirate, you're going to be very aware of an overarching thing that's happening in amongst you. It doesn't mean that you're
Yeah.
necessarily going to have to get involved in it as such. And actually, sometimes, even whether you want to or not, I guess you might potentially still be involved in it just because you're there.
You're going to be affected by it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Kind of
I
like, oh, there goes the guys saving the world again. Just let them do it.
and I just think it just seems really, really exciting. And of course, when you add in all the stuff that they've added in previously with the sirens, and with the phantoms and with ocean crawlers, there's just so many more threats. There's always going to be the threat of other players, and actually, with the arena closing, there's potentially going to be even more salty crews
Yeah,
coming out
yeah.
looking for a battle because to scratch that itch.
Can I get it there? Yeah.
And it's going to be really exciting. It's a vibrant world, and I think that's also going to affect how people play. I just find it's really interesting. I always, there's no hiding the fact that Sea of Thieves is just kind of like taken over my life as a game. I just always sort of quite fancied it, and but I never thought it would literally grab me the way it has. I play an awful lot of it. I mean, that first half a year I streamed 163 hours off it. I don't even know how many hours off it I've done since, right? And I'm always sort of thinking, and don't get me wrong, there's a few days when I'm like, oh, I've done a lot of Sea of Thieves this week, I quite fancy something different. That's fair enough, but I'm always sort of like, I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder if I'll eventually get bored of Sea of Thieves. But the way that the way the game's evolving, I'm like, well, I don't think I'm going to get bored for the foreseeable. There's just so much more to do, and I can't wait.
Happy
Which
days.
is just so crucial with any live service game, and I just think there's so many devs out there who have been hitting the headlines for doing bad things. Maybe not devs, but you know what I mean, studios and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that sort of stuff. So to just have a particular company studio like Rare, who are just, as far as I'm aware, they really are just smashing it. And don't get me wrong, I know there's folk out there with grumbles. It's a super glitchy game at the moment. There seems to be, with the recent things, things have been a wee bit glitchy, and I'm sure they'll fix that. And also, there's a couple of ongoing issues within the community with the game, hit registration, and a few other things that they're trying to shift about. They're doing a podcast on the 11th of February, I believe it is, where they're going to address hit registration and a number of the ongoing issues that players have had problems with. Well, so Sea of Thieves official podcast is going to address that as well. So, as much as a lot of folk have been like, why have they not said anything about bloody hit reg? Why have they not done this? Why have they not done that? Well, they're going to address it, and they're going to address it soon. So, yeah, they're smashing it, and I can't wait. I think 2022 could well. There's a lot of big games coming this year, but Sea of Thieves is not going anywhere.
Exciting times ahead. Well, we know there's a big group of our community are big Sea of Thieves players, so I think it's going to be exciting times for our community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen, I'm going to park that aside.
Yep.
Because
shit.
We've got bigger fish to fry than just one game, because this is us coming back, and we're going to do our game of the year. I found this the hardest yet. I'm not going to lie. Right, so basically what we do for game of the year is we each pick 3 games, and we give them top choice, second choice, third choice, and you have a kind of point system, and then whoever gets the most points becomes your game of the year, right?
Mhm.
So we're going to fly through all our choices.
Yep.
The lower ones we'll skip through quicker. Upper ones you can talk about, but there were six games in our collection, which is probably a bit on par. And yet again, I think Colin and I were a bit more similar than Blunder.
Yep.
But not necessarily.
No, not hugely.
No.
And actually, a couple of Blunder's choices. If I had a slightly longer list, would have definitely made it there as well. You know, if we did a short list of 5, there's definitely one of Blunder's games that would have probably been there, easily, possibly 2.
So without further ado, let's get on it. We'll work from the lower end up the way. So at the bottom of the pile, bottom of the 6 games that we chose was Forza 5, and that was my choice. That's a great point to join at the trailers that ends. Forza 5, very briefly, it's a beautiful game. It's an absolute stunning game. It's, again, more of the same Forza stuff, but it is crystal clarity graphics. It's smooth gameplay, and it's a bunch of fun. I always come back to the quote that I saw on Twitter that said, "Who'd have thought that the best RPG of the year would be a car game?" And it's pretty accurate. If you're a car nut, this must blow you out the water, and you must just enjoy it non-stop. I like to dabble, so I like to jump in here and there, and I'm still getting fun out of it. I know there's people that are mad for it, but it's immense fun. And again, it's going to be a game that lasts for a wee while as well. They're adding stuff that there's always events on and things like that.
Yeah.
But you know, in a world where games are coming out half broken and needing fixed, Forza came out and ran it perfectly immediately. I think there was some PC issues in day one of installing and things like that, but for consoles, you just fired it on and it just played beautiful.
That's a universal PC issue, though. I don't think you're ever going to really be able to fix that due to the myriad sort of combinations of PC parts and drivers and all that sort of stuff. There's it's always going to be a little bit bumpy on PC generally, unless the game's solely built for PC, I guess. I've played a reasonable amount of this. It's, as Paolo says, it's glorious to look at, and we play it on the Series S. I can only imagine it's even more impressive in the Series X.
I can only imagine.
But it's a gorgeous game. It's a lot of fun. It's probably the most fun I've had with a driving game since Drive Club. And we all know that Drive Club was a big surprise for me and Paolo back in the early days of the podcast. But we both, it was a big surprise for me. It probably wasn't. Paolo does like driving games a bit more than I do. A lot of fun actually. And as you said, it's the sort of thing you can jump in for a wee. See if I've only got like 10-20 minutes to do something. Then rather than, you can't put Sea of Thieves on for 20 minutes. You can't do anything in 20 minutes in Sea of Thieves.
But
you can drive about in Forza and do a couple of races or find a couple of billboards or something. It's a good game. Very good.
That's in there. The next one was both the gentleman in front of his choices. It was Deathloop.
Yes.
Gary,
That's a good game.
Tell us about Deathloop.
So if you remember, Deathloop caught me off guard because remember I was like, "Oh, it looks pure gank," and then next minute I was like, "That looks not bad," and then I was like, "This game's amazing!" I just love this. I think for me, it's the style, it's the aesthetics, it feels so cool, calm and collected, and the story's complex and it gets you scratch your brain. There's lots of different ways to go around accomplishing your missions. The one thing I don't like too much is the player invasion, but that's just because I could get beat by people. But again, it adds a new element, keeps the game fresh. I think that's why I kept going back.
You can turn that off.
I know, but then I feel like I'm cheating.
You are.
It definitely caught me in its loop, but I just liked doing it. I liked playing it, and I love the previous games, the like spiritual predecessors, the Dishonored games. So it just felt like everything ramped up. It's just great. I need to go back and get back into it. And I like the way the story unraveled, and you think you're figuring it out, and then they do something, you're like, oh wait, what? So yeah, it's like a giant murder mystery, but no one's been murdered yet. Until you start doing your job.
Nice.
And I just loved it. So that was my third place. Because I enjoyed it greatly.
Nice. Colin, you want to say anything about Deathloop?
I also had third place. I guess the only reason it didn't rank a wee bit higher is I sort of lost my way with it a little bit. I think, and I kind of looked around, and there was a few folk that had a similar sort of feeling that loved it, absolutely loved it to begin with, and then at one point just kind of went, I'm just sort of lost my way a bit. But I'm going to get back into it because there's still a few things I want to try out and stuff. The Blunder's right. The amount of different ways you can do things, the actual gameplay of just like blinking about from rooftop to rooftop is great. I actually love the invasion mechanic. I love nothing better than somebody coming in, kind of, this is my home, I have to defend it. That's how you feel when somebody comes into your world. You're like, I'm gonna get you here. So I actually really enjoy it. And it's very funny, very interesting, and it's just a pretty cool game.
Nice.
I really liked it.
It's very cool.
Good. I've yet to play it. I think I will eventually.
I think you'll like it, Paolo.
Yeah, I think
you
so.
will
I
like
think
it.
so. Next up on the list was It Takes Two, baby. So they say, which is a wee local, or it could be online as well, I suppose, co-op game that you must play with two people. I've been playing this with a wee Maverick, and it is a diamond a wee game. It's so well done. It's so quirky. It's so fun. It's so pick up and play. It's got all sorts of different mechanics that just keep you interested throughout the whole thing. And every chapter requires a different type of game, which is really quite clever. And it's so much fun. And I'm not a huge kind of couch co-op person. I don't fly that flag really. But it's so much fun sitting playing it, and it's because it requires the two people. There's people. The one character's doing one thing and the other character's doing another thing. Somebody can't just charge ahead and do it all. You need the both of you to work together, and it's quite fun. Ties in with the story, that kind of thing. Have any of you guys played this at all?
No,
but I know the kind of story. It's quite dark-sided, the story, isn't it?
It's got a wee bit dark hint to it, yeah.
But no, it involves playing with other people, though. And I don't like people.
That's true.
Me and my wife have almost started this game a bunch of times. I want to play it with her. I think we will enjoy it. We're just getting around to it. For ages, I didn't have a second Xbox controller, but I do have now. So yeah, I can't wait to actually play it because I think we will have a lot of fun with it. And I've heard nothing but great things about it. The trailer itself is really good, and I know various folk. I'm sure Random Bloke streamed this at one point. He was raving about it. There's it's
very satisfying to play. It's very very approachable, which I think is great. Very good. Next on the list, one had to be in there, didn't it? Really, it's Resident Evil 8 Village.
Whee!
Blunder.
Yeah.
Tell me why.
Because all the games that came out last year, it's the only game I've completed like a million times. Like it's so good.
A gazillion times.
A gazillion times. A gazillion billion times. It just did everything so well. It was a really good sequel to 7. It fit in with the Resident Evil series nicely. Its fourth act was a bit weak, but Resident Evil does have a habit of doing that, especially its modern games. But I loved it. It had me terrified, and it had so much to unlock in, so much replayability. I just loved it. I thought it was really good. Definitely recommend it to any survival horror fan. And in fact, it's getting free story DLC this year. I was like, they're still giving us it after
I didn't know that.
a year old. Yeah, so they're releasing free story DLC.
That's exciting.
And no one really knows what it's going to be about, so we're all like, what's going to happen? And that'll just take me back in, but I've almost found planted it in the PS5, then I decided to put my PC and start from the start again. And it's like one of the only game series that I would do that with, but it's just so much fun. It's
You're
great
a
fun. It's
disgrace.
a great fun
You're a
game.
disgrace.
Well, I bought it twice because I didn't know I was getting a PS5. Remember, so I pre-ordered it to PC.
Sure.
Then I get a PS5, so I had to buy it.
The amount of games that we have to play for reviews or to try out stuff, and Blunder spends all his time replaying the same damn game. Although I can't say anything about the time I spend playing Sea of Thieves.
But yeah, so that was my first choice. That was my number one. That was my game of the year last year.
Blunder's game of the year, yeah. I'm just going to move on, Colin, because the next one.
I'm
is...
just going very quickly. It's good. It's good. I don't think it's as good as 7. I think they could have rejigged the stuff. I think, you know, the best baddie they've got, I think, is somewhat underused in it. It's not as good as 7. It's still very good. I enjoyed it.
There it was. Colin Little's review.
That was the TLDR review.
The next one, second on the list, just missing out on the pip of the post to the top spot, as they say, is Ratchet and Clank: A Rift Apart. Colin, tell us about Ratchet and Clank, pal.
This is amazing. It's a genuinely brilliant game. It is the most, I'm sure Blunder will agree, it is the most next-gen feeling game I've played. It is spectacular looking. The gameplay's lots of fun, the story's great.
So they had me crying at points, it's that good.
It's just really brilliant. I actually platinumed it the other day. And that's generally, I don't usually platinum a lot of games unless I really feel that they sort of deserve it, you know. Yeah, I got the platinum for it the other day, and it's just fabulous. I genuinely was so taken. The Ratchet and Clank 2016 was my first ever Ratchet and Clank game. It came on PS Plus, and I put it on one day to try it out just so I could talk about it in the podcast. I went, this is lots of fun. So that was a bit of a surprise hit. So I was kind of excited about Ratchet and Clank. We were very lucky enough to be sent codes for this by Sony. I feel we should probably let folk know that. But, you know, that, you know, is by the by. We've been sent codes for lots of other games, and that doesn't mean that we necessarily get hugely taken by them. In fact, there's lots of games that we've got codes for that haven't bothered even playing. Or, well, we have played, but we've not, you know, you don't get as far in, let alone platinum them. I just think it's fantastic. I think the whole Rift idea is really amazing. The technology that's on show with it, and of course the 4K, the HDR, it really does show off the haptic feedback, all that stuff. It is fabulous. I really, really liked it.
I enjoyed it. It's possibly just a shade away from my type of game. I enjoyed playing it though. I have to say, it really did pop. The whole game did pop alive. With clarity and colour. It was fun to play. I just think it's maybe just a wee shade away from my style of game. But I enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed it. Blunder.
Oh, I just loved it. It was like playing a Pixar movie. It was so good. Like Colin, I hadn't played Ratchet and Clank until they did the remake of the first game, and I waited till it didn't get till PS Plus, and I loved that. And then when this came out, I was just like, oh, is what I think the fourth Crash Bandicoot game, which I enjoyed, wishes it could be. Like they've both got a similar premise and a lot of similar game mechanics, but Ratchet and Clank just does it so much better. And it's really quirky and fun for all the family.
And it's introduced a bunch of new characters as well.
Yeah,
and
very
it's
cleverly.
Without going too spoilery, you're actually not playing as Ratchet and Clank as often as you might think you are.
Okay.
And that, you know, well, we know from the previous smoking crater of our argument over The Last of Us 2, for instance, that's not always that can be a divisive choice. You know, if you're not playing as characters people expect to play, and people don't always want to. But these characters are just really wonderful, and it's an absolute joy, and the way it jumps about and you play as various characters, you're kind of like, oh, I wonder who I'm playing as next, or oh, I'm excited to do this next section of the story. It's just fabulous.
Yeah, good fun. Which brings us, gentlemen, to the Nearly Men Game of the Year 2021.
Oh yeah. There's going to be a revolt in the chat, by the way,
Aye.
about this.
On the
This is
point
why I'm
system,
laughing.
just to remind you, there is a point system
Right.
to how we do this. Tommy Box is going to unsub from all of us because the game of the year
Was it on my
2021
list?
2021 is Returnal.
Ah, yeah.
Aye, Returnal. Aye,
Now,
go
this
on.
was on your list, Paolo. This was on your list.
This was my game of the year.
Yeah.
I want to argue with you about Ratchet and Clank. I think this is the most next gen game that I played this year.
Okay.
I think the gameplay seemed very fresh, even though it might be rehashing some certain things. It seemed very fresh. The style of it was beautiful. I think it's got that Housemarque thing of everything on screen at once, which I think is a real showcase of the next gen console.
Mm-hmm.
It was so satisfying to a game that puts you right back to the start every single time you die, and I still wanted to keep playing it. I can't get beyond that. I can't get beyond the fact that I could put potentially an hour into the game and then die and lose everything. I have no more knowledge. I've not advanced in any way, but then I start doing it again. I think there's something special about a game that can do that.
And yeah, so Paolo, you don't really play a lot of roguelikes, really. So
No.
So this is a fairly new experience. You have played some of them,
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
but you have played some of them. And yeah, and obviously, like any roguelike, eventually there is an element of carry on or sort of like leveling up.
Yeah,
You do start to gain things eventually as you progress that help unlock things. But yeah, I mean, fundamentally, much like Deathloop and various other games, there was a lot of them this year. It starts you right back at the start again. But what Deathloop, what Returnal has, which is also really surprising, and this is why a lot of the naysayers need to realize that this game is something special, because as a kind of rule, Paolo's not really into that sort of game that often. But also, you're not really into super punishingly hard games generally either.
Not necessarily.
I know you've had your moments with stuff.
I'm always
but
intrigued by them, but I don't have the patience for them. I don't have the time to do them. And you know, the thing was, it took Blunderboy, if I may say. Blunderboy played this game, right?
Still furious about this.
And he played it for 90 minutes beat the first boss and was halfway through the second biome, right? In 90 minutes. It took me, and I kid you not, this is no exaggeration, it took me over 24 hours to beat the first boss. 24 hours.
I think I was about 16 hours to get past the first boss. But
So
then I did the second
Just
boss
has a good seat,
second
guys.
time.
So you can argue that, you've beat the first boss, you're now in the second biome, you can carry on, blah, blah. But I had 24 hours of where I
the
didn't,
first one,
I did
just
not
doing the same
advance. So for it to hold me that much, obviously I love sci-fi and things like that, so that's appealing to me. And it's a beautiful looking game. It's so smooth. It plays so next gen. It's just so responsive. Sorry, I interrupted you, Colin. Sorry, I'm away.
No, you're absolutely correct. It's got this speed about it. This like absolute kind of raw, sort of almost like untamed speed about it at times, and you can slow down. And actually, my best sort of advice I've noticed is it's quite important to have moments where you take your time, because it sort of encourages you to battle so fast, and you kind of have to be like constant perpetual motion when you're actually in these fights to keep yourself alive, because they are unbelievably hard at points. and because of the very nature of the game, and because it's sort of procedurally generated, and one time if you're trying to get to the second or third biome, for instance, once you've kind of unlocked the path to it, your route still differs every time. And I mean, sometimes you can find what you're looking for after 2 doors. Sometimes it's 15 or 16 doors, and each door you go through, you're like, is this where I die?
yeah.
Because it literally can just put you right in the special place.
But yeah, you're
but
right. You're right. Even when I was on the second biome, I think I went through the entire first map trying to find what I was trying to get,
Yeah,
and it's glorious.
but it's just fabulous, and I have to say that the story really is fantastic. I feel especially as you get into Biome 2 and Biome 3 in particular, you start to unravel an awful lot more of Celine's memories about why she's there, about what's drawn her to the place, and the way I mean, it's like proper calling back to really decent high-end sci-fi. What's
Yeah,
the one with Amy Adams? What's that called?
Arrival.
Arrival. There's a real feeling of that. Of course, there's a lot of Alien in it. And of course, although I wasn't a big fan of Prometheus, there's a real sort of feeling of that as well.
It's
and
got a
then
lovely level of sci-fi, kind of what you know is sci-fi, and what really appeals to me about good sci-fi is it's slightly spooky.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
absolutely,
Do
it's
you know what I mean?
genuinely spooky at points.
And this is really creepy. The whole house in the first biome, that whole thing is really creepy, and I think that's key to a good sci-fi.
I remember the first time I saw that house, man, blood ran cold.
Yes, yes.
That's super exciting, and it drifts from this sort of like third-person arcadey sort of Dark Souls shoot 'em up sort of thing into this sort of like first-person sort of survival horror kind of feel. You know, this sort of like it feels like. I mean, it genuinely feels a bit like PT at points.
Horrendous. You're right, though. You're right.
And yeah, so I think the reason why Returnal became and it was my game of the year too, so in the end it wasn't even close, I'm afraid, people in the chat, due to the way that we kind of award points. It was a clear winner for us, actually, although, well, actually Ratchet and Clank did very well as well. But you know, I had high hopes for Housemarque. We didn't know what Returnal was going to be. All we knew was it was Housemarque, who had made Resogun and Alien Nation and various other kind of small indie arcadey games, and we knew that they were doing a PS5 exclusive. They became part of PlayStation Studios. They were definitely going to be. This was going to be a bit of a departure from them. But even the trailers and all that didn't really give an awful lot away in the kind of lead up to it. We didn't really know what kind of game it was going to be. All I knew was it was Housemarque that were doing it, and it was probably going to be pretty good. We were lucky enough to get sent, yet again, full disclosure, we got sent codes for this game. But I can tell you right now, if I had bought this game, I'd be absolutely delighted with it, and it would still be my game of the year, because I genuinely think there's just nothing else like it. And you know, I've streamed it a few times. I've been streaming it recently, and there's a few folk who have come in, and yeah, I get it. It's not going to be for everybody, but the people who kind of sit and watch it and go, oh, I quite like that, it will get its claws into you. I think it's absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, I agree.
And for me, absolutely game of the year, because I don't think there's another game like it.
I agree. Blunder, you getting to see about Returnal, son?
It's good.
That's good. That's good.
That's good.
I
will Returnal to it eventually, but it's an anxiety game for me. And I don't like the dying going back to start.
That's an issue. But then you didn't do that for 90 minutes as you flew through the first two.
I know. It's true.
I mean, I've got to say, though, the amount of times he goes back to the start with whatever Resident Evil game he's playing in. just imagine it's a Resident Evil game, Blunder, you'll be fine.
I played a lot of Hades this year, and with that game, I didn't mind dying to go back to start. I don't know if it's because it's ancient Greek gods and stuff, so I think I go back to
everyone's so sexy in that game.
Everyone is so
That's
sexy.
what it is.
I think if I went back to Returnal, I'd enjoy it because the story was good. I like the story. It's just it's a game where I need to be in the right. Like I need to just be like, right, I'm not going to get annoyed. I'm just going to play it.
I mean, I think you do have to be in the right zone to play it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll give you a headache, I think.
You need to be aware that you're going to get battered. Yeah. You have to put that to one side and realize that Deathloop's a similar sort of game in that sort of way. Like you're gonna have to fail to succeed. You're gonna have to learn from your mistakes, and there's this whole sort of meme, and it's used to be to kind of be mean to people a lot on the internet about get good, right? But you kind of have to get good at Returnal.
Right.
And you will get good. You will. There are ways to
Get
get
that!
it. It's
Just
just.
tell that.
I know. Well, that's
He's
what
not
I'm
talking.
saying.
He's
I
talking
mean,
to me.
I was mostly to Paolo.
It was good.
It was to Paolo and the naysayers out there who are burning their Nearly Men merch as we speak.
So there we are, ladies and gentlemen. The game of the year 2021 for the Nearly Men by point system is Returnal. Well done, Housemark. Well done. Colin Little, give us some Colin Little's little trivia.
Ooh,
Do it.
Paolo moved it in the script. Where did he put it? Where did he put it?
I didn't
it's here.
move it. I just said I'm going to move.
Oh, I see. I just assumed it when I saw you saying you were moving it. You'd
Burgundy,
actually moved it.
jeez,
I'm Ron Burgundy. I've only got one for you. But this will ward off all the accusations of us being Sony fanboys, right? I've got some Microsoft Xbox trivia for you here, right? This is Colin Little's little trivia. Master Chief is a radio DJ. The voice actor who plays Master Chief and has played Master Chief in every single Halo game to date is more famously known as Steve Downes, a radio DJ dating back to the late 1970s. Downes was most recently on Chicago's WDRV The Drive. That explains why he's got such a... I mean, he has got a fabulous voice, Master Chief.
That's right, he does.
I mean, what was that?
I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was a mute.
Chief.
I thought it was like a mute hero. I didn't even have a voice.
He talks like that. Yeah. I see we got a problem. That's what he does.
I mean...
Listen, I've played a lot of Halo in the last 6 months.
He is a bit gravelly. It doesn't sound like he's had a...
No, he does. He sounds like my Tom Hardy impersonation. Do you want to know what you're getting for your subbies? Thank you, Colin, for your trivia.
Do we?
Maniac.
Subbies.
Subbies. Game Pass editions. 20th of January, you got Death's Door, Hitman Trilogy, Paparazzi, Rainbow Six Extraction, and Rainbow Six Siege, and Windjammers 2. 27th of January. That's today. You're getting Taiko no Tatsujin, the Drum Master, on console PC. 3rd of February, you're getting Dreamscaper, console. 10th of February, Besieged on console. 17th of February, very excited for UZ83. We know he's going to explode. It's Total War Warhammer 3.
I'm very excited with that, but I think that would make my PC explode.
On Game Pass. Day one, people. Day one. Games with Gold. Right, here we go. Till the 31st of January, you're getting Eurovoider and Space Invaders Infinity Gene. Till the 16th of February, you're getting Aground. I've not completed that list at all.
No.
So that's to the end of January.
Would you like to know what you've got in November and December?
I can tell you that. If one of you can look up Games with Gold for February, go and let us know.
Oh God, right, I'll do that. Do you want to take us over to the PlayStation side of town?
PlayStation side of town. So creepy. January, you've still got Dirt 5 on PS5 and PS4, and you're also getting Deep Rock Galactic on PS5 and PS4. And Persona 5 Strikers on PS4, you've got about 3 days to pick them. Oh no, tell you, you've got about, 5 days to pick them up. Next Tuesday, I think, is when they drop. For February, what's coming is Planet Coaster Console Edition on PS5, UFC 4 on PS4, and Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, a Wonderland's one-shot adventure on PS4. That's what you're getting. Colin.
Yeah, I've got your games for February, yep.
What are we getting up to the middle?
So from February... hang on, which ones did you get? Let me check before I repeat myself.
I've got the ones that were last month.
And Ground. Okay, yeah. So from February the 1st to February 28th, you're getting Broken Sword 5, The Serpent's Curse quite excited about that. That's for Xbox One. You're getting Aerial Knights Never Yield. That's February the 16th to March the 15th. You're going to get Hydrophobia. That is February the 1st to February the 15th. And finally, you're getting Band of Bugs. That is the February 16th to February the 28th. That's what we have, according to theloadout.com.
Thank you very much, Colin Little. We've been playing some games. We're going to skip over these. Altogether, we did play some Age of Empires, didn't we?
Want to talk about it.
Didn't we? Yeah, we played that, didn't we?
I don't
It
want
was
to talk about
fun.
Yeah.
Don't want to talk about it.
It was good fun. I'm just going to skip over this, just purely for the fact that we are going to set up an Age of Empires tournament, I think, for the Nearly Men. There's no date or anything, or format or anything in place. We're basically gauging interest to see how many people want to play. It's probably going to be a kind of casual offline situation where it won't be like you have to be here and there. You might get like a week to play your game kind of thing, and you arrange with your opponent when you're going to play, that kind of thing. I think that's the easiest way of doing it. But it's going to be epic, isn't it, Colin?
It is. I can't wait. And I have to say, Age of Empires 4, if again, much like Resident Evil and a few others, if we had a slightly longer list, Age of Empires would have been on my somewhere on my list of Game of the Year as well. It's really great. I really like it. It's super hard, and I'm clearly not as good at it as I thought I was. But
not at all.
It's a really great game. I really, really like it, and you know, the community seem to really be quite taken by it as well. It's got that old school LAN party sort of feel to it at times. I think it's really great. I had a lot of fun playing it.
Colin, what else have you been playing, my buddy?
Just very quickly, I had a bit of a shot at Hitman 3. I played it in VR. It was excellent. It made me feel hella sick.
Good.
I have obviously lost my VR legs. Need to get back into it. But it is fabulous. I've also played, a bit weird, the PS VR version of the game is only compatible with the PS4 version of the game, not the PS5 version. So I have the PS4 version and the PS5 version. It's because of the DualShock, the light bar on the DualShock for tracking the weapons, rather than the DualSense that doesn't have a light bar at the top. So that's why that is. So the PS4 version with VR works really well. I mean, it's suitably janky at points, but it is a lot of fun. The maps are amazing, and of course, you can play in VR. You can play Hitman 1 and Hitman 2 maps, as well as Hitman 3, all in VR. So I was actually playing a lot of the Hitman 2 stuff in VR. It was fabulous.
Nice.
And I've also played some of Hitman 3 on PS5, and it is stunning graphically. So Hitman 3 is great. And the other game, which I'm sure Paolo's going to mention as well, is I played a little bit of Valheim. I'm going to need a bit more oomph in my PC before I can properly get into it. I'm going to get some more RAM, I think, to properly think. But Valheim's a lot of fun. And who knows, if I'd had a bit more of a chance to play Valheim, it may well have appeared somewhere in my Game of the Year list as well, because it came out this 2021. I know a lot of folk in the community love it. I think it's very good.
Yeah, Valheim is good. I've played a wee bit of it as well, and it's got that addictive thing, that Minecraft. I'll just finish this bit. I'll just near there 3 hours later. It's very good, and I've been addicted to Star Citizen. Anybody that's been watching me knows
it's a proper addiction.
It's so good, such a good world. I don't know when I'll ever stop.
And it's essentially early access at the moment. It's not even a full game yet, and you're obsessed.
Brilliant, love it. Blunderboy, what you been playing? You've been playing something a bit more different than us.
Yeah, so I jumped into VHS, which is an asymmetric 4 versus 1 horror game. It's in closed beta just now, which I think is hurting it a bit because people are dying to play it, and they're just not putting that many keys out. People are tempted to compare it to Dead by Daylight. It's not, because basically your job is to kill the bad guy. So I think Colin, you'd enjoy this a lot more when it goes to open. When it goes to open games, so you basically have to the bad guys, the monsters have 4 lives, and it's 4 different types of life, and you have to craft the weapons and then basically kill them each time. So there's 4 monsters. It's very 80s, set in the 80s. There's a storyline, so they're like in a video rental store, and it's like a monster of the week idea, and they get sucked into the TV, and one of the 5 teens gets turned into the monster, and they free their pal. They've got to kind of break the curse. It's quite,
Right.
so it's kind of a wee bit cheesy, but it's really scary. It's really intense. Like your blood gets pumping when it works.
Can I just check? Do you have to do anything with bloody generators?
No generators, just make
Yes,
weapons.
I'm in.
Make
I'm
weapons
in.
and kill. Make weapons and kill the bad guy, or the bad guy kills you.
That's what I'm
Um,
talking about.
It's lots of fun. It's real fun, and I think, don't quote me on this, I think when the game releases in PC, it's going to be free.
All right.
So
Okay.
I would definitely recommend it. The reason I'm not streaming it more is just it's quite hard to get games, or you're getting games and you're new and you're going up against level 95 players and you're like,
Absolute sweat.
So it's just because they've been playing that they've had the key for months, but
Yep.
very, very good, lots of fun, and can't wait to play a bit more of it when there's more people on it.
Nice.
The other game I've been playing is called In Sound Mind by We Create Stuff, and this is great. It's a first-person psychological horror game. You play a psychiatrist, and you wake up in the basement of a building, and the city around you is crumbling and flooding, and basically to save the world, I'm guessing, or to save myself, you have to find your ex-patient's tapes, therapy session tapes, and explore their memories, and their memory, they are some sort of demon that represents their pain and turmoil. So it can be quite dark at times, quite dark-sided, but it's really good. It's made me scream so much. There's a few very good clips of me dying on the spot. You see my soul leave my body. And the highlight is there's a talking cat called Tonya.
Excellent.
And she's great.
Sign
So
me up.
she kind of, you first, well, the game starts with the bad guy going, "They say curiosity killed the cat. No, I killed the cat." So for the whole game, you're just like, who's killing my cat? And then the cat appears, the cat saves you a couple of times, the cat farts at you a point as well, and you can pet the cat, and it's the most cutest thing ever. You get a trophy for petting the cat. But no, it's really good. I've done 3 of the tapes. I'm about to find the 4th tape. I'm going to be doing that on Sunday, and it's real good. It's real fun. I took a chance in it. I got it on sale. I was like, it looks good, but I'm worried it's going to look good, not be good, and it's been amazing. Like, no regrets.
Nice.
Excellent.
Good shout.
That looks good. Looks properly spooky.
It's very spooky.
Spoopy.
There's mannequins.
Nope, I'm out. Thanks for playing. Our lovely listeners have been in touch as well. They get in touch about the game of the year as well. Jamie Simpson was on Facebook. Hi guys, welcome back. Looking forward to the episode, it says. Thank you, Jamie. Game of the year 2021. My gaming time is very limited, so I didn't play many, but the game I played most was Resident Evil Village, so that's my choice. Stay safe. To Jamie.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hamster
Good
Boy! Can't do a game of the year 2021 because I don't think I played any new releases somehow. Guess Wreckfest takes it.
Wreckfest is a lot of fun.
That is a lot of
Wreckfest
fun.
is.
That is a lot of fun. Viva la Hazy! Gives us his top 3, which are Deathloop, Returnal, and Metroid Dread.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a good one. I never got a chance to play Metroid Dread, but folk rave about it. It's apparently very good. Those are all quite similar games, though. Those are all kind of Metroid Dread is suitably difficult, and then obviously Returnal and Deathloop have got that loopy roguelike sort of felt. Well, yeah, I mean Deathloop's not really roguelike, but you know what I mean. Yeah, good choices.
Nice. Baker was in touch on the Discord. Returnal, Game of the Year. That's all he says.
Yes.
There it was. Jamesy42, welcome back, he says. 2021 was the year of the Game Pass for me and rekindled my love for the Xbox. Lots of great indie games that were fun to play, like The Artful Escape and Unpacking. Game of the Year for me would be Forza 5. There you go.
Good choices.
See?
Good choices.
The lovely Social Scruffy tweeted us. What a great year for gaming, he says. Sea of Thieves and Forza Horizon 5 are fantastic. Halo Infinite is my game of the year. The tight multiplayer and the open world campaign with boss fights is just what I want Halo to be.
That's a little dig at Paolo. Paolo doesn't like the boss fights.
Well, do you know, they're alright. They're alright. It's no as...
Yeah.
I actually had fun last Monday. Last Monday I had fun playing Halo, which is the first time it's happened in a long time.
I quite like Halo Infinite. I'm just not that big a fan of the Halo games, and every time I play Halo Infinite, I kind of wish I was playing Destiny. And that's not a
Yeah.
great sign.
That's not
But
great.
I would say that it's the best Halo game I've played, but that's not necessarily the. I mean,
Yeah.
it's perfectly good. It is a pretty good game, but I play a lot of shooters and it's not that good.
Yeah. The grapple's great fun, but that's about it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's great.
Subtle was in touch. Subtle's been playing, Subtle Strath that is, been playing Control, Grounded, and more Destiny 2. There you are. Some games I'm looking forward to playing are the remastered Life is Strange games. I played
Those are out. Those are just out, I think.
They're just coming, I think. A Plague Tale 2 and The Longest Road on Earth.
I don't know that at all.
Govern Road.
I was trying to think of something, I couldn't think of it. Hamster
Great Western
Boy.
Road, surely.
Hamster Boy has also been playing some Genshin Impact on PlayStation and a little bit of Halo on the old Xbox.
Oh.
Audentia was on Discord saying, since your last episode 3 years ago, I finally played Ori and the Blind Forest. Really good looking and sounding game. Nice. Bri was on the Discord as well, been playing lots of Kingdom New Lands. Finally finished Back 4 Blood, Alien Isolation, and some random retro games in my collection.
Nice.
Alien Isolation. Callmac42 was in touch. He says, at the moment I'm playing my way through Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which is totally amazing. They have really done an amazing job updating it. As for 2021, nothing really jumps out to take first spot. While Call of Duty Vanguard sucked, Halo Infinite was really good, so that's up there at least. Now I'm just looking forward to the new Sea of Thieves update. The new stuff looks totally awesome. Shame about Arena leaving the game, but good that devs want to focus on the adventure side of the game. As for this year, we will just need to wait and see what the gaming world throws at us, and fingers crossed, hopefully with the pandemic ending, things get better and we see more big releases. It was kind of quiet, wasn't it? The whole of 2021 was, there was obvious big games, but it wasn't as many as we're used to.
Well, that's exactly it, but I think that's also quite, that's kind of because of the way that things are going. There's a lot of big games coming this year. If we're even just thinking about Sony, there's Horizon coming, there's Sifu, which is going to be an interesting one. Obviously, there's God of War, Ragnarok, Elden Ring, and then of course, I mean, is Starfield coming this year?
End of this year, it's due.
End of this year.
I won't hold my breath though.
Is Breath of the Wild 2 coming? There's lots of games that people are hoping that are coming. You
have more chance of getting a Shrouded Ghost than Breath of the Wild 2.
I don't know about that. I think Breath of the Wild 2 might come this year. Who knows? So I guess you just have your slit list sometimes. But actually, we were having a bit of a tricky one because when we were talking about Game of the Year, we're like, right, we'll do Game of the Year when we get back for the first podcast because we always do our first one back in January. And we're like, I can't even remember what came out this year because nothing really jumped out. It was only when we went back and had a look at them. Obviously, Returnal was already. I was like, well, definitely Returnal's one. Ratchet and Clank's probably one, but we'll have a look. There's some other stuff. But yeah, there was a lot of games that came out this year. It wasn't a bad year for games at all. It's just that a lot of the games that took us were games that were actually already there, that were sort of like finding their thing. And also because of Game Pass, James is right, in a lot of ways Game Pass was the year of Game Pass. But the thing about Game Pass is it's like a buffet. Rather than sitting there picking a menu and going, I really want a steak, so I'm going to get a steak. You're at a buffet and you can, I'm going to get a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And as a result, we've kind of had that problem where we've barely completed any games because we've played so many different ones. So I kind of get that with James. Game Pass could well be Game of the Year for quite a lot of folk because there is a lot of games that you've had a little nibble at.
Game Pass Game of the Year, I like that.
It's not though. It's Returnal.
It's Returnal.
It's Returnal.
Here's some new releases for you, gentlemen. Rugby 22. Easy for me to say. Rugby 22 is coming out pretty much in everything on the 27th. Circuit Superstars joins us in PS4 today, 27th. Model Builder on PC. Tomorrow, Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection's out, as is Pokemon Legends Arceus. Must be Arceus. On the 1st of March, you get Life is Strange Remastered Collection, Chef-tastic Buffet Blast.
I didn't even know that was coming. I just talked about Buffet there.
Is that right? On the 4th of February, Dying Light 2's out?
Yep.
Yes,
There
I
you
even
go.
forgot about that.
There
Dying
you
Light
go.
2's coming out. That's another big game. Paolo, you going to play that? You going to play that?
Nope.
Play that?
Ollie World is coming out in the 8th. Sifu is out in the 8th as well. Crossfire X out in the 10th. As is Edge of Eternity, Out There, Oceans of Time, and Lost Ark is out in the 11th.
And then the week after that, you get Horizon as well. There's so much coming. So much coming.
Crank it
February
up.
is jam-packed with games because Elden Ring's, what, the 25th or something as well? February is jam-packed with games.
There you go. Clear your diaries. Save your money.
Clear your wallets.
Aye.
Clear your bank
It's
balance.
not the hard part. Gentlemen, this has been a pleasure. Episode 101 is done. Has there been anything in the chat that has stood out for you? Or have you just been enjoying yourselves talking?
Everyone hating on you two for voting Returnal Game of the Year.
Oh, Tommy Box 298 did say, are we more offended by the Returnal choice or the Master Chief impression? There's a lot of people. I mean, it's right down the middle. Some folk are saying absolutely Returnal. Baker Boy's very pleased. Ride to Die. Tommy Box, obviously. Colmac, not impressed with Returnal. Evil Monkey says more like Return It. Which is unnecessary. Daybreak talking about In Sound Mind, saying really enjoying watching it, Blunder.
Very good story.
And there's a lot of love for Ori and the Blind Forest as well, which is a really great game. Actually, I haven't had a chance to play yet, but folk really like it. The worst thing in the whole thing, Social Scruffy's turned up to declare that Blunder's the best gamer. But then this is also a man who was saying
Halo
that
Infinite's
Halo
Game of the
Infinite's
Year.
Game of the Year, so I mean, he's no.
Remember, I'm better at the Game of the Year than you two.
That's grim, isn't it? That's really grim.
I mean,
no hiding
that
the
happened.
rage.
That happened early on, and then right at the tail end, start of 2022, Paolo smacked me about multiple times in Age of Empires. It's just not been my year.
Gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure. This episode of the podcast was brought to you, of course, by executive producer Mr. Hamster Boy. Thank you, Mr. Hamster Boy.
Producer.
Being a tier 2 subscriber, you can be an executive producer of the podcast by being a tier 2 subscriber. All tier 1 subscribers are, of course, producers, and you'll see them at the end of the show. Next episode is 102. That's going to be on 8 p.m. on the 10th of February. That's 2 weeks tonight. We'll be back next week with a more multiplayer action. Anything to say, boys, before we go?
No, that was it's good to be back. Thank you everybody for listening and your support as ever. Thank you for all the folk that have been here in the chat and buy our merch.
Yeah.
Buy our merch. Printbunker.co.uk. Blunderboy, anything to say?
Charge a joypad. It's very depressed if you don't.
Love it. Go and play Neil Men's Game of the Year 2021 Returnal. Enjoy it. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.